Please stand for the playing of our alma mater, the Black and Gold, and remain standing for our national anthem. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 154th commencement exercises of Perrysburg High School, commemorating the accomplishments of the class of 2019. Please join me in thanking Mr. Smith and his strings ensemble for their performance this afternoon. I ask that you please turn off or silence any electronic devices at this time. Whether we gather in the p.h.s. auditorium, gym, conference room, or on a college campus, we are concerned about the safety of our students and guests. In case of an emergency while we gather here, please remain calm and seated. We will be given direction by the Stroh Center event staff and public safety personnel. My name is Michael Short. It is my honor to be the principal of Perrysburg High School. I would like to acknowledge our stage guests, beginning to my left, Mr. Thomas Hostler, Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Katie Anstadt, Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Pam Harrington, Treasurer and CFO, Mr. Brent Swartzmiller, Director of Teaching and Learning, Mr. Jarman Davis, Board of Education President, Mr. Ray Pullman, Board of Education Vice President, and to my right, Mr. Dave Boyce, High School Assistant Principal, Mr. Dave DeColius, High School Assistant Principal, Mrs. Janice Ray, Dean of Students, Mrs. Gretchen Downs, Board of Education Member, Ms. Sue Larimer, Board of Education Member, Mr. Eric Bennington, Board of Education Member. Thank you all for your service. An unsung hero of this graduation ceremony is High School Executive Assistant Sheila Horseman, who works diligently behind the scenes to keep things running smooth and ensures that all goes smoothly for our graduates. Thank you, Sheila, for your hard work and dedication, and thank you for your help in preparing our new home for our ceremony. I would also like to introduce and ask that you assist me in acknowledging our dedicated faculty of Perrysburg High School seated in the first rows of the arena. Please stand and be recognized. Two of our faculty members, Rachel Newell and Lindsay Levins, took the lead role in helping Perrysburg High School and Perrysburg Junior High apply for the Purple Star designation from the state of Ohio. This recognition acknowledges the efforts of schools supporting military families. We are very proud to announce that the state has recognized our efforts by giving us this designation this past Friday. This year's senior class officers and next year's class officers will now come forward for the symbolic passing of the light of knowledge to the class of 2020. Passing the light is Senior Class President Oliver Durham to next year's Senior Class President Annabella Radzos. This year's Vice President Sam Miller to next year's Vice President Kylie Morgan. Senior Secretary Grace Beneke to Griffin Krebs. Senior Treasurer Alex Waddell to next year's Treasurer Chase Culp. Thank you, officers. May the class of 2020 continue to live up to the words of W.B. Yeats when he said, "Education is not filling a pail, but lighting a fire." It is my pleasure to introduce to you a young man who has served the high school as Senior Class President, Oliver Durham.
Parents, grandparents, teachers, family, and friends, my name is Oliver Durham, and I have had the distinguished honor of serving on student council for 4 years and being elected senior class president. I feel very privileged to say, on behalf of the class of 2019, thank you so much for being here to celebrate our success. What a day. A day awaited for over 3.5 years, a day we have all heard about since our first enrichment meeting. Dr. Short's voice boomed throughout the auditorium, basically telling us to behave and not do anything stupid. Most listened. Something I will never forget from that meeting, though, is how serious he was when he told us how fast these years would fly by. Now, I know everyone says this, but it really is crazy how fast we got here. I don't think anyone believed him, and I know I certainly did not. But how wrong we all were. While it feels like just a few weeks ago, we were walking into school on the first day of freshman year, we are all now stronger, more confident, and better people. Some of us, however, are still pretty indecisive and can't figure out an idea for a graduation speech. In the past month or so, I've gone through about 6 different drafts and countless ideas, but the idea that stuck with me is goodbyes. Saying goodbye incorporates many different emotions: relief, accomplishment, sadness, sorrow, the list goes on. Here's my best attempt to incorporate these emotions as we say our final goodbyes. My earliest memory of high school is sitting in the commons before school, surrounded by all of my friends. We talked around the table, telling each other how nervous we were to be trampled in the hall by Chaz Westfall, get our first swirly, or be thrown in a trash can by a senior. Each person had a different fear for the first day of high school. Eventually, though, the 5-minute bell rang, and we were forced to say our goodbyes. Throughout the year, we grew. We figured out how to open our lockers, how the lunch line worked, and most importantly, how to walk the hallways. We made friends, study habits, memorized the enrichment schedules, and more. But eventually, May rolled around, and we were forced to say goodbye. This goodbye wasn't sad necessarily. We all looked forward to summer and being warm and tan, but eventually, we all knew we would get to come back to Perrysburg High School. And back we came. Sophomore year was like freshman year, but better. We got to move down in the student section and yell at the new freshmen to move back. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot to say about sophomore year. Mr. English described it best. Sophomore year is the Tuesday of every week. Junior year was a year of change. Some people said goodbye to sports, clubs, or friends, and hello to new things. Personally, I said goodbye to soccer, a sport I'd played for my whole life, and hello to something new, rowing. Finally, senior year rolled around, and we began saying our last goodbyes of high school. We sang the fight song for the last time under Friday Night Lights. We danced at our last homecoming and prom. We waited 3 years to wear togas during Spirit Week and said goodbye to them in one day. We watched the last fall play, winter one-acts, and musical that our class performed in. Anyone involved in clubs or sports had their last meeting or practice. We had our last pep assembly, class meeting, enrichment meeting, and 2-hour delay. Some people who started online health freshman year finally finished it this past August. And finally today, we are not only here to receive our diplomas and walk across the stage, we are here to say goodbye to those sitting around us and one final goodbye to Perrysburg High School. In the wise words of Winnie the Pooh, how lucky we are to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Thank you to all the people who have made saying this goodbye so hard.
Thank you, Oliver. I appreciate you saying in front of Mr. Hostler that people should just believe that what I tell them is right. I now welcome Salutatorian Elaine Park.
Good afternoon, families, friends, teachers, and staff. I'd like to thank you all again for being here to celebrate Perrysburg High School's graduating class of 2019. None of us would be where we are today without all of the love and support you have given us. Now, I think senior year was a little bit difficult for all of us because we faced an unavoidable struggle that our families, friends, and even teachers had to see us deal with. Senioritis. Listen, I know this might seem like something you can laugh off, but senioritis is a real disease. It was this ongoing battle with something that I personally never thought would have wreaked such havoc in my life. I've seen it affect every kind of student out there, even those who aren't even close to being seniors yet. So, with my motivation starting to disappear and adulthood lying ahead of me, the fear that senioritis has caused me actually pales in comparison to the potential for major regrets, such as using senioritis as my opener in my high school graduation speech. I was terrified of letting opportunities pass me by, or how I should have done certain things but didn't. And I feel as if this is a somewhat common mindset as we look back on our entire K-12 careers. From that very first day of kindergarten to today, there is a countless number of what-ifs and should-haves. But why should we let the what-ifs and should-haves take away from our past or even define where we go from here? Instead of focusing on how, oh, I should have joined this club or played this sport or auditioned for that musical, we have to cherish every memory we've made throughout our lives, and in particular, high school. How could we forget times like getting rained out after school in junior high and having to go to Hershey's with your friends instead of Mr. Freeze? Sure, it was disappointing that day not to get a Buckeye Sundae, but would it have been worth walking any further with our binders as makeshift umbrellas? Or traditions like one I was more recently introduced to, such as sitting on the grass in downtown Perrysburg by the river or by the fort and watching the fireworks on the 4th of July. Or even more recently, how could we not miss that weird chunk of time right before and at the beginning of after prom, where everybody is kind of half awake and trying to rally for the rest of the night? Or who could forget the football games and Mal Me Week that got more exciting each year, especially with that weird transition as you see yourself going from wearing a onesie freshman year on Generation Day to, as Oliver mentioned, a toga senior year. But more than just appreciating all the memories instead of focusing on regrets, as we plunge into this next chapter of our lives with newfound freedom, we have to acknowledge the fact that we will be faced with even more of these what ifs and should haves. There will unfortunately be infinitely more in our lifetimes. The crucial part of it is that we don't let that fear of having all these regrets ever stop us. If anything, this is our opportunity to make the most out of every situation in the future and value each of the decisions and memories we've made that have gotten us here. We should let it motivate us and be our springboard to live every single day to the fullest and appreciate all the things we've accomplished. Now, I can't really tell you whether or not we've all recovered from senioritis. But as my best friend says, even though the way you feel and the way life is right now seems as if it may stay this way forever, it truly won't. Senioritis fades, and no matter how fantastic high school was, it's unbelievable to think that our greatest days still lie ahead of us. Hopefully down in the road, whether it be in 5, 10, or even more years from now, we will continue to not only focus on making an impact in the future, but also to be grateful for everything we've done throughout the years. As well articulated by our senior quote, "Our lives are before us, the past is behind us, but our memories are forever with us." Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the valedictorian of the class of 2019, Elliot Schmittenberg.
Hello. I wanted to start this speech by saying that it is an absolute honor to be speaking to all of you today, and I hope I can add more to what Oliver and Elaine have already shared. This is just my take on where we stand now as graduates and what we hope our futures will look like. After the last bell of 8th grade year rang, my friends and I planned a visit to Mr. Freeze. However, we soon discovered that the rest of the school shared our idea. So as we pushed our way through the exodus of kids, we resigned to going to Oh Dear Diner instead of waiting in line for hours. Elaine, this story may sound familiar. After about 5 minutes of walking, we realized that none of us actually knew where Oh Dear was or how to get there. So just as we stopped on the side of the road to figure out the way, we felt soft raindrops land on our heads. Soon this intensified, and as it started to pummel us, we ran for the safety of a large tree that was much further down the path. Sprinting, we lost all sense of direction, and when we reached our refuge, we couldn't even find the junior high, let alone Oh Dear. The rest of our trek passed in a chaos of short runs and general confusion until the tower of the Commodore building peeked over the horizon, leading us downtown and finally toward Oh Dear. We didn't plan for the rain-soaked journey, but that ice cream would not have tasted better any other way. So fast forward to today. We're at a crucial time in our lives where we have a vision of who we want to become, and we know that over the next few years we will transition to becoming that person. And I worry because I don't know if even tomorrow I will wake up and still want to be that version of myself. But what I do know is that my favorite memories have been the surprises, the rainstorms, the little hints of disaster that have made the successes and the ice cream infinitely more enjoyable. Back in 8th grade, I had this grand design of who I thought I would be when I graduated high school, and for the most part, I followed through on that model. I practiced piano, I played tennis, I tried theater. However, I did not plan my future around any surprises, so ironically, it was the things that had no part in my plan that I cherished the most. Student council blindsided me. I found out that symphony orchestra existed, and I enjoyed English class. Everything I've done in high school has either brought me closer or taken me farther away from the person I thought I would be when I graduated. So now, 4 years later, I look ahead and wonder, how do I plan my life when I know that the best moments I will have, I can't even imagine right now. Because of this, my image of the future is filled with optimism, but at the same time, I feel an anxiousness that scares me because I want to be somebody who is more than the person that I am today. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. A speaker I recently heard said that the world needs each and every one of you high schoolers to make changes to better our lives. And that's pretty heavy stuff to be asking of us. I don't usually know what I'm going to eat for dinner, let alone how I'm going to improve the world. So that sentence, which was meant to inspire, instead did the opposite. I think it revealed the uncertainty that clouds us when we dream of our lives a few years down the road. Some of us may have our careers planned, most of us don't. But somehow we have to figure out how we want to make a contribution to a world that we barely know. And I think we all want to make this difference in our own lives in our own way. The desire is certain, but the course remains a mystery. And it is up to each one of us to figure out how to achieve that goal, and I am hopeful that these next few years will allow us to grow enough to succeed in that endeavor. But every once in a while, I feel this sense of longing for something out in the unknown, a faint idea that there is something astonishing out there, but I know I have to wait to reach it because I'm just not yet there in life. We're all here in this moment looking forward, dreaming for change, but we're also here waiting. I have had this feeling of being almost frozen in time these past few months, and I think we all have. We first waited for a college or a job or the military to get back to us. Then we waited to make our decision, and now we're waiting not to leave, but to move on. We spent our time in junior high looking forward to high school, and our time in high school looking forward to what comes next. So I'm curious if, when we get there, will we be just as anxious to move on? And I think that's kind of inevitable, a focus on what comes next instead of an appreciation for what is happening now, even though I know I want to cherish these last few days spent here with all of you. But despite all advice, I found it difficult to spend my time thinking of anything else but my next steps. And this has come to show me that when something has a set end or a graduation date, we will always be looking forward to what comes after. But I hope that I can remember at one point in time, I was looking forward to being where I am today, and that I will be able to take advantage of all that I told myself I would in the future. So I hope that throughout all of our journeys, we can take the time to celebrate our accomplishments as well as look forward to even more. We all think we know our futures, but we will be subject to change and, yes, surprises. And this fact has made me realize that our realities will be a happy middle, a place to enjoy who we've become, but always be able to grow further if we wanted to. We will not become the exact person that we imagine, but with that ideal in mind, we will also not deviate too far from them. We all can change the world. We are Perrysburg alumni, after all. But for most of us, it will come down to changing the lives of the people around us through small, ever-growing ripples that we hope will cause the change that we seek. We will always be waiting for that change, spending each day looking for its own tomorrow, and I hope that one day this fact will hit us, that where we stand in the future is exactly where we once wanted to be. So in 10 years, I wish for you to remember that you once had an idea of who you would become, and I hope that allows you to look into your life with the excitement of a high schooler again and search for where you underwent change, but where you also held on to your vision. We will all encounter rainstorms, but at the end of a winding path of determination and adaptation, the ice cream that we seek will be waiting on the other side. So thank you to my family, my friends, teachers, everyone that I became close with, and those who I just started getting to know. You all have made an impact on my life, and it is because of you that I look to the future with such excitement.
At this time, I would like to invite the senior band members to join Mr. Sleater and the Wind Ensemble for the performance of a senior selected piece, Handel in the Strand. gracious leader and wind ensemble members. Not only does this group bring enjoyment to those who are fortunate to hear them play, they bring pride to Perrysburg High School with every performance and trip. Thank you for carrying the Yellow Jacket name with respect wherever you go. Over the past several years, we have resurrected traditions and created new ones. One of the more enjoyable traditions for graduation has become the performance of our senior vocalists. It is my pleasure to present to you our vocal music seniors under the direction of Ms. Nicole Spatafor and Mr. Kent Van Dock performing When I Grow Up.
Beneath the bed each night to be a grown-up. When I grow up, I will have treats every day, and I'll play with things that moms pretend that moms don't think are fun. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will spend all day just lying in the sun. And I won't burn, 'cause I'll be all grown up when I grow up. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change, nothing will change. be saying I think that it's okay. And that's not right. When I grow up, I will have treats every day. And I'll play with things that moms pretend that moms don't think are fun. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will spend all day just lying in the sun. And I won't learn 'cause I'll be all grown up when I grow up.
Thank you for that gift. It is customary that I formally request the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools to accept the graduates as having completed the requirements for graduation. Mr. Hostler, I proudly present to you the graduating seniors of the class of 2019.
Members of the Perrysburg Board of Education, Principal Short, members of the faculty, staff, parents, guardians, families, and members of the class of 2019, welcome. Today is a very special time in the lives of our graduates, a day where their families, their school, and entire community beam with pride. We are witnessing here the culmination of these students' efforts. We are blessed to have dedicated families like those of you who are seated in the audience. We also acknowledge a talented faculty and staff who are committed to excellence, and a Board of Education that prioritizes ensuring all students achieve their greatest potential. None of this would be possible without the continued support of our entire Perrysburg community, and for that, we are all grateful. Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." It is our hope that today's graduates will do just that. On behalf of the Perrysburg Board of Education, we want to congratulate you on achieving your goal of meeting the necessary requirements for graduation. Today we are celebrating the 2019 commencement ceremony for Perrysburg High School in a new venue. We are grateful to Bowling Green State University for hosting us. As we move from the stage of the Stranahan to the Stroh Center, it is hard not to think about this ceremony in the context of athletic competition. This is why I would like to begin my remarks talking about Mr. Fred Rogers. Yes, the cardigan-wearing, puppet-playing speaker, sneaker-tying Mr. Rogers, who made Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, a PBS children's show, a daily staple for generations for children. For those who missed him, there was an excellent documentary released this year, Won't You Be My Neighbor? And later this year, on November 22nd, a film will be released nationwide starring Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, titled A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And yes, I will be wearing my cardigan, sweater, and sneakers when it premieres. Graduates, you probably missed Mr. Rogers' experience, so you may be asking, who is Mr. Rogers? Fred Rogers, from 1968 to 2001, wrote, starred in, composed, and directed a children's television show on PBS. He was a pioneer in that he wanted us to use television in a way to connect with young children in a thoughtful and sensitive way. His academic approach to teaching, coupled with respecting children and not patronizing them, was always underscored by the unwavering value that everyone is worthy of being loved, regardless of their situation. In a commencement speech in May 2002 at Dartmouth University, not long before he passed away, Mr. Rogers told the following story. Have you heard my favorite story that came from the Seattle Special Olympics? Well, for the 100-yard dash, there were 9 contestants. All 9 of them assembled at the starting line, and at the sound of the gun, they took off. But not long after, one little boy stumbled and fell and hurt his knee and began to cry. The other 8 children heard him crying. They slowed down, turned around and went back to him. Every one of them ran back to him. One little girl with Down syndrome bent down and kissed the boy and said, "This'll make it better." The little boy got up, and he and the rest of the runners linked their arms together and joyfully walked to the finish line. They all finished the race at the same time. And as they did, everyone in the stadium stood up and clapped and whistled and cheered for a long, long time. People who were there are still telling the story with great delight. And you know why? Because deep down we know that what matters in life is more than winning for ourselves. What really matters is helping others win too, even if it means slowing down and changing our course now and then. Okay, so I know what you're thinking right now. It's Mr. Rogers. Of course he wants everyone to win. Those of you in the audience may be rolling your eyes with this everyone wins mentality, and you may even be quoting the legendary NASCAR driver Ricky Bobby at this very moment, who said, "If you ain't first, you're last." Maybe you've heard of this other kind of athletic contest growing in popularity across the world. It's an endurance race called the Tough Mudder. This race was the brainchild of two British friends, Will Dean and Guy Livingston. At the time, one was attending Harvard Business School and the other a corporate lawyer. And they both decided they wanted something more out of their life. So they came up with this idea of a race. If you don't know what a Tough Mudder is, it is an 8 to 10 mile race. Yes, that's tough. But wait, there's more. They added hills and lots of mud and ice-cold water. More mud and hills, and just for fun, they erected barriers covered with butter and grease that have to be climbed, and for good measure, a little barbed wire. To top it off, they laid electric wires throughout the course, and yes, people actually pay to do this. It looks like a typical race. A starting and finishing line can be found. On the course, there are competitors, but what you won't find at any time are timekeepers or a podium for the winner. This event was created to emphasize team spirit, cooperation, and fun. Co-founder Will Dean, when asked about the attraction of these races, responded, "It is values, it has meaning, it stands for something, and if you stand for something by definition, you can't represent everyone in society." Before each race, a Tough Mudder must sign a pledge before participating that reads, "As a Tough Mudder, I pledge I understand this event is a race, but not an excuse to be a selfish jerk. I will uphold the Tough Mudder values of teamwork and camaraderie. I will help my fellow competitors complete the course. I will not whine. Whiners are losers. I recognize that in life the race is long, and in the end, only really with myself." So graduates, from Mr. Rogers' pleasant neighborhood to the bloody electrified course of the Tough Mudder races, there is a common theme that is more relevant to you today than ever. As we gather together for this commencement, your starting line, if you will be taking off on your own race. It is tempting to focus on your time, your pace, your competitors, and whether or not you will cross the finish line first. You must resist this temptation. Remember the lessons taught by Mr. Rogers in those crazy Tough Mudders. That being, the race you are all in doesn't have to be run alone. The only true competitor you will really face is yourself. Fred Rogers also said, "When I was a boy, I used to think that strong meant having big muscles and great physical power, but the longer I lived, the more I realized that real strength has much more to do with what is not seen. Real strength has to do with helping others. As you leave this ceremony today as men and women, know that you have great abilities, talent, and worth. May you find true strength, the kind that will not only carry you through your race, but give you the power to lift others so that they too may succeed. Always remember those 9 athletes in the Special Olympics with their arms linked crossing the finish line together. Remember that helping others is a real strength. I'm proud to be here with you as you embark on this journey, and I can't wait to see the positive impact you each make in our world. On behalf of the Board of Education, I am both pleased and honored, Dr. Short, to accept the Perrysburg High School graduating class of 2019 as presented.
As we prepare for the conferring of diplomas, I ask you to note that members of the National Honor Society are acknowledged by the gold cord they are wearing. Members of the National Technical Honor Society are acknowledged by purple cords. Honor students and students awarded honor diplomas are listed in your program. Those graduates who have committed to the armed services are distinguished by the red, white, and blue cords they are wearing. This is also noted in the program. I would be remiss if I did not remind everyone of the significance of this event for all members of the class. Each student and his or her family deserve the right to hear each name as it is read. To call excessive attention to one student implies a lack of confidence that the student would actually make it to this point. We have believed in them all along. While this is a time of celebration and we are in a basketball arena, we would also like to convey the formality of the occasion. I believe that it is the honor we show to each of our graduates and the class as an entity that sets our ceremony apart from other commencement exercises. Please respect that during the presentation of diplomas. The guidance staff of the high school will announce the graduates. Our counselors work with students by letter of the alphabet. Mrs. Nicole Bin will present class officers, speakers, student council executive board members, and graduates A through E. Mrs. Dawn Burks will present graduates F through L. Mr. Steve Pierce will announce graduates M through R, and Mr. Rick Reddig will present graduates S through Z.
Mark Joseph Dorr II. Megan Elizabeth Smith. Willem Henry Griffin. Catherine Grace Davis. Elaine Park. Elliot Max Schmittenberg. Oliver Nicholas Durham. Samuel Edward Miller. Grace Caroline Beneke. Alexander Joseph Waddell. Madison Margaret Adamski. Ariana Madison Agnew. Neshka Aguilar Burgos. Ava Amitage. Afnan Hussein Almuter. Ethan Allen Amstutz. Mohammed Ajwad Anab. Nathan Edward Thomas Ball. Mara Ann Barley. Clara Elizabeth Barnett. Lauren Nicole Bauman. Jonathan Andrew Beck II. Alyssa Rose Bengala. Kyle Edward Bengala. Gabriella Renee Bennington. Arthur William Berry. Asta Dhananjay Bhavsar. Jagger Scott Bibler. Taylor Quinn Bielefeld. Jessica Nicole Biote Hatfield. Jordan Elizabeth Bodansky. Avery Nicole Bowman. Tate Romagna Bonfilio. Benjamin Glenn Boris. Katie Irene Bosse. Christopher Matthew Botens. Nathan Tipada Bourgeois. Andrew Michael Bowers. Dorian Michael Bowman. Benjamin Alfred Thomas Brady. Madison Faith Brickner. Emma Gabrielle Brown. Henry James Brown. Zoe Anu Brown. Gwyneth Olivia Burns. Elizabeth Morgan Butler. Shane Henry Butler. Riley Jameson Bisick. Sullivan Joseph Carlson. Emily Christine Carnes. Ayana Amarni Carpenter. Josephine Rose Carazales. Dustin Michael Carter. Emma Grace Carter. Anna Grace Chamberlain. Zachary Charles Chamberlain. Constance Fren Christensen. Joseph Gabriel Syak. Evelyn Ann Clayton. Tag Arison Coates. Nicholas Christian Coleman. Sydney L. Connard. Carl Lincoln Conley. Daniel Andre Connell. John Francis Connor. Austin Lee Conrad. Joshua Ray Cooper. Leah Faith Cody. Kenneth Erickson Howard Cox. Taylor Nicole Craig. Emma Claire Christenberry. Catherine Elizabeth Churin. Anastace Jolie Cunningham. Miranda Joanne Kernut. McKenna Leanne Curson. Noah Henry Signor. Evan Miles Daggett. Esperanza Bianca Delau. John Delaney DeCessna. Marika Renee Deemer. Julia Marie DeMarco. Clay Michael Denstorf. Peter Mahoney Detchen. Tyler James Detterman. Kate Isabella Deal. Andrew Douglas DeSalle. Suzanne Grace Druschel Edgington. Abigail Grace Duhame. Elena Marie Dunphy. Leah Caitlin Dworzak. Jacob Alexander Ebert. Joshua Dennis Eckel. Kelsey Lee Eischen. Joshua Chamberlain Emmert. Julia Christine Emmert. Nathan Miller Engelhardt. Drew Robert Enos. Ethan Gabriel Epping. Nicholas Hunter Evans. Nicholas Joseph Valeris. Darby Nicole Fisher. Chelsea Kathleen Fisher. Madison Rose Fisher. Marco Tidez Flowers II. Carson Donald Flynn. Dustin James Fothergill. Emma Nicole Francis. Haley Misha Frazier. Matthew David Fritz. Brock James Friedenlawn. Aaron Mackenzie Furlong.
Jonah James Gaber. Peyton Alexandria Gagich. Ethan Tyler Gary. Samantha Lynn Garvin. Alexander James Gauthier. Lauren Marie Gibbons. Chad Evan Gilligan. Cameron Allen Givens. Carolyn Ashley Glasser. Cameron Elizabeth Goodell. Harrison Scott Graber. Addison Diane Graham. Tate Daniel Graham. Carrie Patrick Gray. Sophia Alexis Grigsby. Benjamin Allen Grichetsky. Carson Albert Golgan. Ashley Lauren Gundrum. Mateo Gutierrez. Emily Grace Haar. Claudia Caroline Hammond. Nader Muhammad Hamoude. Kirsten Judith Haney. Claire Ann Hanley. Margaret Louise Hanna. Noah James Hansen. Benjamin James Harbauer. Drake Willem Harlett. Kaylee Grace Hera. Madeline Frances Haschek. Aubrey McKenna Hayes. William Grant Hayward. Charles Lloyd Hebert. Nicholas Troy Heckman. Kylie Rachel Henthorn. Paige Elizabeth Herbach. Christy Jane Harold. Taylor Raquel Hicks. Sebastian David Hillary. Ashley Morgan Hoffman. Andrew Robert Hogel. Ethan Douglas Homan. Sarah Lynn Hooper. Shelby Renee House. Colton Scott Hudson. Kyle David Hudson Jr. Elizabeth Ann Huff. Rachel Elizabeth Huffman. Zafraz Zakor Hussein. Van Hoyt Husted IV. Julia Kate Irwin. James Tobias Jackson Jr. Jermaine Lavelle Jackson Jr. Madeline Helena Jaco. Emma Marie Jeroman. Nadine Jamil Gemma. Grace Ann Jenkins. Anne Maria Jimenez Rios. Benjamin Walter Johnson. Haven Lee Johnson. Presley William Johnson. Wesley Allen Johnson. Maya Nicole Jones. Julia Marie Kelly. Zechariah Allen Kearns. William McLeod Kewen. Araj Khan. McKenna Page Kinney. Alexander Marshall Klosterman. Boone Yeager Klusmeyer. Garrett William Knowlton. Anna Beatrice Kohler. Anna Lorraine Keppel. Lena Elizabeth Koskinen. Ethan Andrew Kowalski. Michael George Crafty. Carrie Lynn Kramer. Trenton Charles Kramer. Andrew Jacob Krasnewski. Ellie Catherine Kriegel. Ryan Andrew Kromenacker. Devin Michael Kraut. Daniel Andrew Kruger. Rayanne Evan Kruger. Erin Elizabeth Komaticki. Claire Kathleen Laffin. Jordan Anna Lambden. Thomas Christopher Labby. Savannah Daniel Lawson. Emma Catherine Laser. Julia Marie Lee. John Thomas Leadham. Ty Robert Lincoln. Chimu Leo. Natalie Rose Long. Nathan Raymond Lowe. Katrina Luce.
Stephanie Elise Mackett. James Henry Magoon. Gabriela Ann Mancini. Maricela Sonrisa Massanedes. Brianna Adeline Martel. Emily Michelle Marzari. Sydney Le Marzullo. Isaac Grant Masters. Presley Nicole Matoni. Nolan Nicholas Mattis. Kenneth Michael May. Dakota Robert McCoy. Caitlin Grace McCullough. Olivia Bryn McCullough. Logan Thomas McGuire. Megan Rose McKee. Allison Haley McNerney. Anthony Quinlan McNulty. Jacob Lee Meek. Jessica Danielle Menke. Piper Catherine Mercer. Aiden Nicholas Merrick. Joel Scott Myers. Rebecca Jean Myers. John Terrence Miller. Olivia Rose Miller. Jordan Shepard Moeller. Haley Marie Monholland. Wylan John Moore. Tiana Jalen Mulligan. Wesley James Meisinger. Andrew David Newton. Brian Lee Nguyen. Caitlin Meelan Nguyen. Jack Miller Noble. Jacob James O'Rourke. Timothy Joshua Obeob. Kevin D. Olds Jr. Sarah Ann Olmsted. Natalie Grace Andrus. Brandy Lynn Overy. Skylar Ray Pichelle. Tessa Kennedy Palmer. Paige Marie Paparaki. Alicia Ann Parrish. Allison Grace Parks. Deepan D. Patel. Lauren Irene Patterson. Noah Michael Pauley. Ethan William Pendry. Griffin Alexander Pendry. Ricardo Ariel Perez Hernandez. Zachary Michael Perry. Allison Riley Piasecki. Valeria Itzel Pimentel. Joseph Thomas Pokornik. Michael Louis Posadny. Jacob Scott Prokop. Morgan Marie Pruss. Jack Robert Rayner. Eva Lauren Rando. Evan Michael Rantanen. Kelsey Renee Rathman. Luke Christian Reamsnyder. Ethan Michael Recker. Janelle Madeline Reese. Tanner Michael Reisinger. Anthony James Restivo. Lauren Christine Retzloff. Morgan Elizabeth Rich. Kobe Michael Ritchie. Ian Seabrook Riddle. Leah Marie Roberts. Austin Michael Robinson. John Stipe Robinson. Luke Douglas Robinson. Drew Michael Rodkey. Carlos David Rodriguez. Elena Ray Rodriguez. Matthew David Rodriguez. Emily Elizabeth Rogers. Gavin Philip Rogers. Emma Elizabeth Roars. Shane Tyler Rowland. Emily Michelle Romstad. Lindsay Marie Roof. Julianne Barbara Roland Miller. Ryan Christopher Rump. Derek Allen Russ. Brock Aaron Ryan. Aubrey Lynn Ryback.
Naba Amar Saba. Samer Jamal Salahat. Elise Marie Sanford. Francesca Angela Saberna. Henry Louis Schott II. Caitlin Nicole Shankula. Caroline Marie Schoen. Devin Jeffrey Schrader. Hallie Marie Schuler. Jordan Jean Schwegler. Jonathan Michael Schwind. Alexander Paul Sedlak. Abigail Cindy Seeley. Lucas Rees Schaefer. Abigail Ann Sherman. Abigail Victoria Sherwood. Jacob Scott Sherwood. Michelle Young Shim. Zachary Lewis Schultz. Noah Simon. Harnoor Singh. Chloe Tamia Smallwood. Bradley Michael Smith. Cotter Joseph Smith. Evan Todd Smith. Hayden Daniel Smith. Kaylin Riley Spear. Ellen Elizabeth St. Mary. Sophia May Statz. Nicholas Andrew Stolitz. Catherine Laura Stamos. Aiden Reed Steinlein. Drew Joseph Starwalt. Haley Isabella Stein. Paige Marie Stein. Matthew Jeffrey Stow. Paige Brianna Stringfellow. Kylie Morgan Stump. Emily Grace Swick. Hudson Owen Tefelsky. Madison Ray Tansey. Caitlin Brooke Taylor. Mitchell Mark Thistlethwaite. Evan Nathaniel Thomas. Christopher Neil Thrailkill. Riley K. Tilton. Haley Natasha Makaleka Malia Tomlin. Alexander Joseph Tonjes. Zoe Renee Tripan. Mila Renee Urban. John West Usher. Alexander Paul Van Burkum. Dylan Edward Van Leuven. Nathaniel Lee Verdon. Elizabeth Clara Wagner. Jeremy Lee McCoy Wells Jr. Mackenzie Kate White Neff. Ayana Jasmine White. Joel Michael White. Blake Lamont Whitman. Judith Catherine Whitner. David Adam Wilhelm. Amanda Morgan Wilkinson. Abigail Nicole Williams. Hannah Marguerite Williams. Kayla Elizabeth Williams. Gavin Gary Wimbish. Kaya Ann Winter. Emily Maria Anna Witkowski. Ryan Benjamin Wood. Haley Marie Woods. Sean Henry Rembelski. William Zichao Shi. Jacob Austin Zam. Sly Edwin W. Keel. Alexander James Fedak Lengel. Dustin Tyler Waters. Reese Timothy Zimmerman. Daniel Gerard Asat Zugo. Montana Celeste Morgan. George Fox Walton. Leah Rose Welling.
Congratulations to you, class of 2019. And congratulations to your parents, most of whom had confidence, who marked this occasion as a passage in your lives where their involvement begins to wane and when you create your lives on the foundation established by your parents. Graduates of the class of 2019, please join me in honoring your parents for their love and devotion to you. Parents, you are rightfully proud of your children individually, but there is something to be said for strength in numbers. The graduating seniors collectively have been offered more than $14 million in scholarships and awards. It is this part of my address when I like to recount the accomplishments of the class. There have been many. I will attempt to do them justice. Please forgive me in advance. As our students earn so many accolades throughout the year, it is challenging to be all-inclusive. I would like to thank Matt Horan, staff member, for helping with the athletic accomplishments of the class, and by helping, I mean giving me all of the information. 9 football seniors earned all-league academic honors and on the field were led by all-district honorees, Carl Conley, Clay Densdorf, Carson Gulgin, and Ian Riddle. Most importantly, the bell came back where it belongs. Zach Schultz and Drew Enos led the boys cross-country team to the state meet in Columbus after winning the district meet. Zach was the league meet champion, the district and regional runner-up, and completed the regional course in under 16 minutes. He represented Team Ohio at the Mid-East Meet of Champions. Ellen St. Mary, Eva Rando, Emma Francis, and Jessie Menke led the girls team to Columbus. Emma was named Honorable Mention All-Region, and Jessie was a 2-time state qualifier as she was named Honorable Mention All-District and First Team All-Region. Girls tennis captured their 6th straight NLL title. Our seniors have never lost a league match. In fact, the team's last NLL loss was September 2012 when our graduating seniors were in 6th grade. Emma Carter, Kylie Henthorne, Natalie Andrus, and Caitlin Shankula continued the winning traditions. Caitlin was sectional singles champion. Kylie was named Honorable Mention All-Ohio, and Emma was named Second Team All-Ohio. Both boys and girls golf teams qualified for the state tournament in Columbus as district champions. Carson Flynn, Drake Harlett, and Gavin Rogers led the boys team, with Carson being named Second Team All-District. Ana Maria Jimenez and Franny Saberna paced the girls' team as sectional champions. Franny was named All-Ohio, and Anna Maria earned first-team All-District honors. Maddie Adamski, Emma Laser, Lauren Patterson, Elise Sanford, and Maddie Tansey led the volleyball team to back-to-back NLL championships and the sectional championship. Maddie Adamski was named second-team All-District. Maddie Tansey was named to the All-District Honorable Mention roster, and Emma set a new school record for aces with 147. On the pitch, Taylor Bielefeld, Andrew Bowers, and Ethan Pendry led the Jackets to the sectional championship. Taylor earned honorable mention All-District honors, and Ethan was named second-team All-District. The Lady Jacket team was also sectional champions. Riley Tilton was second-team All-District. Addie Graham was named to the first-team All-District and second-team All-Ohio with a record-setting career goals scored with 73. This winter, the boys basketball team was sectional champions and district runners-up led by honorable mention All-District players Ben Boros and Ian Riddle. Maddie Adamski changed from one court to another as she helped the girls basketball team to their own sectional championship as honorable mention All-District and was helped considerably by second-team All-District player Nadine Gemma, who tied a record for most three-point shots made in a game and set a record for most three-point shots made in a season during an All-Ohio junior year. The wrestling team brought the league crown back to Jacket Country and sent two seniors, Ethan Gary and Drew Newton, to the state championship after they were crowned NLL champions. Quinn McNulty and Aiden Steinlein were also league champions. Sonny Carlson, Will Kewen, and Evan Thomas helped the Haka team to the White Division Championship. Evan was named honorable mention in the Northwest Hockey Conference. Will was second-team NHC with career victories in the net, and Sully led the team with 37 goals. Anna Keppel and Julia Lee led the girls' swim team as district qualifiers. Julia made that trip 3 times in her career, while Drew Enos and Blake Whitman qualified for the boys' district swim meet. Blake set school records in the 50 free and the 100 fly. The gymnastic team qualified for the state meet, led by senior captain Claire Hanley. Claire was a 2-time District Sportsmanship Award recipient and named Academic All-Ohio. The boys bowling team was NLL champions for the first time ever, paced by Carson Flynn and Drake Harlett. For the 7th consecutive year, the cheer squad qualified for the state competition. Elena Dunphy and Emily Witkowski were multi-year state qualifiers. The Jackets are still rewriting the spring record books, and most of the all-league district or regional teams have not been set. But to this point, we know that baseball is the sectional champions. Earlier this season, Nate Ball set a new school record and tied an OHSAA record for most hits in a game with 6. Mars Deemer set a record for softball last year with most hits in a season and is leading the girls in a successful campaign this spring that continues on Wednesday in the regionals. Girls track was undefeated in league dual meets led by second-team All-League Jessie Menke and first-team All-League runners Tiana Mulligan and Emma Francis. Emma, Jessie, and Tiana all qualified for regionals. The boys team were NLL champs with Joseph Syak, Drew Enos, Jermaine Jackson, and Zach Schultz being named to an all-league team. Jermaine qualified for regionals in the 200. Drew also distinguished himself as the first student, as far as we can determine in p.h.s. history, to earn 12 varsity letters in his career. Ty Lincoln set a school record this spring for the lacrosse team with most goals in a game with 7. The girls lacrosse team was undefeated in league play and are 3-time league champions and advanced to the regionals led by Emma Carter and Elena Dunphy. The boys tennis team is following in the girls team's footsteps by winning their 5th consecutive NLL championship. They were undefeated in league play, qualified 5 players for district, and are still active in tournament play in the OTCA. The team is led by Nathan Engelhardt and Elliot Schmittenberg, who were both named to the all-district team. Senior captains Julia Lee, Sam Miller, and Alex Waddell have led the rowing team in their growth from 18 rowers to 39 since the school's first varsity season in spring 2017. This season, the 9 senior rowers took home a combination of 10 gold, 7 silver, and 10 bronze medals. Julia Lee set the school record for the women's 2K with a time of 7:39. Julia has been selected to compete at the Canadian Henley in August and will continue her rowing career with the varsity Notre Dame Fighting Irish next fall. Our award-winning athletic teams were supported by our award-winning Pride Club, led by Carl Conley. For the 3rd consecutive year, our student section, The Swarm, have made the trip to Columbus to be recognized as one of the best student sections in the state. We believe that the athletic arena contributes in creating a well-rounded person. So too do the arts and humanities and other activities we provide at p.h.s. This is the first year for a new state recognition with the seal of biliteracy, a rigorous standard for those studying world languages. 27 p.h.s. seniors earned that seal in their chosen language. DECA's success began in November 2018 when Deepan Patel placed 3rd in public relations and Skylar Patel was voted Secretary-Treasurer of Ohio DECA. Competition success continued in January with 21 seniors placing in the top 3 at district competition. 54 seniors traveled to state competition. 30 p.h.s. seniors placed in the top 8 at states, while 2 found themselves on the top of the podium in first place, Mateo Gutierrez and Alex Waddell. These 2 also traveled for a 2nd year in a row to international competition with 14 other p.h.s. students. DECA also donated over 300 hours of community service and together with family consumer science classes raised over $1,800 for a local inner-city school. Neishka Aguilar Burgos, Carson Burns, Devin Kraut, and Carson Selly competed in their Skills USA category at the state level. Carson Selly also competed in the Ohio History Day competition, finishing 3rd in the state, and will compete at the national contest in June. While Carson Burns, Adam Knorr, Tyler Stockwell, Ellie Bennington, and Ashley Gundrum were named outstanding students in their chosen career areas through Penta Career Center programs. Our teaching profession students, Ellie Bennington, Kaylee Hara, Caitlin Wen, and Brandy Overy competed at the state contest with Ellie and Kaylee placing in the top 10 in the state. Caitlin qualified to compete at nationals in Anaheim. Musically, our Yellow Jackets are second to none. Our orchestra boasts 60 seniors. They have earned the highest rating at their state contests each year, with Alex Gauthier being recognized in the All-State Orchestra. Madison Brickner was named to the OMEA All-State in Band. Zach Chamberlain was honored as a member of the BGSU Honor Band, and Carolyn Glasser and Carson Flynn were named to the District 1 Honor Band. Our talented theater jackets took us to York, Pennsylvania, then to the Isles of Greece, where Grant Hayward, Andrew Hogel, and Grace Davis gave tour de force performances, with Grace delivering a show-stopping number not seen on our stage in many years. We have also not seen the level of artistic talents from our visual arts students in some time. Tate Bonfilio, Julia Emmert, Nick Valeris, Elaine Park, Hanan Shah, and Betsy Wagner were regional winners in the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition. Katrina Luce was a state finalist in the exhibition, and Erin Furlong had her artwork displayed in the State House as a Governor's Award of Excellence winner as one of the top 25 in the state. These artists were recognized out of 11,500 entries. Finally, thanks to Steve Taylor and Taylor Automotive's Driven to Succeed program, Haley Woods will be driving to school in her brand new car. Home stretch. Elliot, I share your concerns about the unplanned and often completely unexpected occurrences that shape our lives. When considering that idea, I reflected on the words a wise man once told me. Once you accept the fact that everything in life is an approximation, your own life gets a lot easier. I can't remember the exact context of the conversation Mr. Ash and I were having when he said this, but I do know it was sage advice. If you plan for absolutes, you will be disappointed. But if you advance in a direction and allow the ebbs and flows of life to help carry you on your journey. You won't be living a life of shoulds, as Elaine suggested, but a life of possibilities. Doing this becomes easier, too, when you learn from your past and rely on your friends and family to guide and support you. I don't believe Mr. Ash ever met Anna Beach, but knowing Mr. Ash, I wouldn't be surprised. Anna Beach was one of the first 3 graduates of Perrysburg High School in 1866. In a message to the class of 1911, she said, "May your ranks be unbroken, your past serene, your future hopeful." I wish the same for all of you. Congratulations to the 154th graduating class from Perrysburg High School. At this time, I would like to ask the class officers to please come forward to lead the class in the traditional changing of the tassels. Graduates, please rise. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2019. Take your time. I would like to remind the audience to remain seated until the last graduate exits the arena. This concludes the 154th commencement ceremony for Perrysburg High School. Our best wishes to all of you. For the last time, go Jackets.